what did I see in my future before I knew about Unshattered? Not much. I didn't really have anything to fall back on or go back to because I kind of ruined that with my family. Given an opportunity to be able to come somewhere where you never learned how to never learned how to do half the things that you do here, I am telling you that you will thrive, grow, and learn how to do things you never thought you'd be able to do. It pulled out of me to be confident in everything that I am doing and that I can do, which I couldn't before.
As I was exploring my choices after a recovery program, I was really kind of stuck. I didn't want to go back to where I had been. There was a lot of trauma that had been around that area. I was really concerned about being triggered and just going back to old places and old things. There was a lot of pieces with that felt a little scary because I didn't have work experience, so I wasn't sure what I would do for a job. It was just a lot of uncertainty and fear that really surrounded my choices. If Unshattered hadn't existed, I'm not sure where I would be today.
I used to be the person who thought that people that struggled with addiction just needed to get their act together. Until I entered a women's event one night at my church and I heard a woman share her story of her addiction that started at 8 years old. She was being raised by a single mom. Her mom was ill at the time and so in bed a lot. And so she was taking care of herself, her mom, and her brother at 8 years old. Had a 15-year-old neighbor who thought it would be funny to get an 8-year-old high. And for the first time, I began to understand that it was a story of pain, not a story of substance. And my expectation that somebody could just change their mind and be more responsible is actually impossible. And putting those expectations on people actually can perpetuate the problem and make it worse. It was that light bulb moment of really understanding the problem in a different way and realizing that women work really hard to get to sobriety, but I call it the day 366 problem. What happens after you've achieved sobriety, you've completed your program, and yet maybe you didn't have the chance to get an education, maybe you haven't developed job skills. Most importantly, you don't have a safe community to go back to. So that's when I left my career to start Unshattered, really understanding that if we can help build a supportive community, we can help people build job skills, we can unmask their potential and give them a belief in what's possible for their life, that we could really make a change. And Unshattered is proving that when you support women in those ways, it's not only possible for them to maintain sobriety for the long term, it's probable. The name of Unshattered was kind of a spin-off of one of our partners who states their mission as rebuilding women's lives that have been shattered by drugs and alcohol. And so this is the next step in that work, not just getting women to sobriety, but where Unshattered steps in is after they have achieved sobriety, what's next? What is that next step? How can we unmask their innate skills and potential, help them rebuild a life and find pathways forward? The start of Unshattered really was the moment when I got involved with a local recovery program. I just set out initially to help them raise funds. I thought, I can teach these women how to sew. I'm sure we could get people to donate old coats, and we could sell these bags to make a little money for their program. And it did not take long for it to have legs of its own. Not only was the product selling and the women were quickly learning how to sew, but you could see that something changed in them when they made something beautiful and somebody else wanted to invest in that. They were learning creativity, team leadership, how to be part of a community, and the success and self-confidence and joy and teamwork that was being built as they were doing this project together. and finally had a moment where I was like, well, they seem to like this. The customers seem to like the product. I think we could turn this into real employment. And so in 2016, we turned Unshattered into paying employment, full-time employment for these women, and established as our own independent 501c3 nonprofit.
I used to be very isolated and just not a part of a community. So being here has helped me to be someone who's confident and can step into relationships in ways that I hadn't got to practice really before. So I didn't know how to do that.
I was very shy and quiet. Working here pushes you to want to get better at learning, and just the people around us supporting us and having the love here.
Just being able to come alongside one another to help in those hard times. It's helped me gain more confidence in being, who I am. And my son has recently come back to live with me. And when I was in the home, I was told that that wasn't going to happen. And now he's back, and I've just enrolled him in school. So right now he's kind of my future.
Maybe north of 80% of people relapse. Many of the members of our team have been through 8, 12, 15 recovery programs. Often when people get sober, they get through a recovery program and they go right back to the place in the community where they began. They're known there. They have relationships, they have community, they have a rhythm to their life. But to go back to that and try and maintain your sobriety when other people aren't, they don't want you to remain sober. I have watched a woman go through a recovery program, 12 months. Her mom came to celebrate her at her graduation ceremony, balloons, flowers, everything. They get in the car, and before they're down the driveway, her mom handed her a crack pipe. People often don't want somebody to get sober because it proves that it's possible. And if it's possible, they have a responsibility to try. And they don't want that. And so it's easier to cause somebody else to fail. And that's a cycle that I wanted to disrupt, to say, if we help you build a safe community, if we help you find purpose and opportunity in a job, if we help unmask the skills that you already have, if we help grow you into the woman that you truly want to become, what's possible? And what Unshattered is proving is that women can thrive. We have had 2 of our women in the last 2 years be named 40 under 40 business leaders for our community. We've had 3 of our women speak at the White House. We've had 1 as an advocate on the steps of the New York State Capitol. And so we know that lives can be transformed. And I am committed to disrupting that cycle of addiction, relapse, and potentially death for as many women as I possibly can.